Hi, today we'll be working on this PS2 Slim, PlayStation 2 Slim, and we'll be installing a hard drive, or SD card that will emulate a hard drive, to be more precise. So from this device perspective, it will be a hard drive. Now, obviously the regular hard drive, IDE hard drive, won't fit in here, and the reason is that it's just too small, because this is the original one, original PS2. This is white, but it doesn't really matter. Where you could actually put hard drive right here, IDE, huge 3.5-inch hard drive, and that's one of the reasons it's that huge. If you compare it to this slim one, I mean, it's a different league, it's a different sport. So yeah, this would be almost ideal device if it had a hard drive, and that's what we are going to do today. So let me zoom in a little bit and I'll show you what we're going to do. So the first thing that you will need a PS2 Slim, obviously, but it will need to be SCPH 7000 series, so 70001, 2 or 3, this is 3 PAL 7000 series. The reason for that is that this, as far as I know, is the only series or the only model that has those IDE signals on the motherboard. So they are not connected anywhere, but they are on the motherboard. That's why we can do this mod, because all these IDE signals are actually on the motherboard. So that's the first thing. Next thing you'll need is this IDE to SD adapter. You can purchase them on eBay, on Amazon, on AliExpress. I'll put some links down there in the description. It's just normal standard SD to IDE adapter. Optionally, that's an option, you will need this micro SD card adapter. The reason for that is, in theory you can use that and put your SD card in this one, but then this sits inside and you will have to, in order to remove or replace the SD card, you will need to disassemble the whole thing, which is obviously not ideal. So that's why I'll use this one. And what I'm going to do, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that, but I think SD card will fit in these vents, either this here at the front or at the bottom. And again, when we remove, when we disassemble the whole thing, I will check that. But I think it'll fit here. So this will essentially be installed inside, and you will be able to put the SD card somewhere here. A lot easier than disassembling the whole thing. And the main thing is this. So this is IDE Resurrector flex cable, and you can buy it here and post the link in the description. So this is highly recommended. In theory you could do that with just the wires, but it'll be a nightmare, and I wouldn't recommend doing this. Even if you're really good at soldering, just buy this. This will make your life a lot easier. Still not easy to solder, but a lot easier than just wires. So, and that's pretty much it. That's all you need. So let's start disassembling this device. So in order to disassemble it, I removed this warranty sticker from here, because there was one screw underneath. So there's 6, as far as I remember, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 screws. So you will need to remove this tiny. Some of them are rubber. These are rubber and covers, and these are plastic. Just be careful with this not to break them. There you go. Didn't want to do that. Got it back. So keep them safe. Don't damage those. I mean, not the end of the world, but you won't be able to put it back, obviously, and you will have that screw sticking out there. So next one, and I think that's the last one. Yeah, don't remove this. This close to these 2 screws. There's nothing underneath there. So let's start disassembling this PS2 Slim. By the way, all these screws are the same length, the same size, so just keep them safe and don't worry about the order. Okay, so with all these screws removed, just flip the console and this top part should come off. There's still some tabs, I believe, inside, but it should come off fairly easily, just like that. It's dirty, so it'll go for a nice cleaning. So in order to, we need to remove the board obviously from this. So to remove that, we'll need to remove this one screw here, just between the controller ports. So let's do it now. This is different screw, so keep it separate. And then we'll need to remove 4 screws that hold this DVD assembly in place, because there is one more screw just underneath that, so we'll need to remove the whole thing. So there's 4 screws, and again these screws are different than the previous ones, so keep them separate. These are fairly easy to distinguish because they are completely different. Okay, so 4 screws. Now, before we start doing anything, let's remove the battery. Try not to pull by these wires. See this connector here. Let me grab something better. So there's a bottom part that's connected to the board, and the top part that you can actually grab onto. So that's what I'm going to do. So grab this top part. I just don't want to damage these wires or the connector. Let me do it with my right hand. That'll certainly be easier. That's done. It's probably would be a good time to replace the battery, but I don't have those. And I think these are soldered, these cables, to the battery, so maybe I'll replace it at some stage later. And we need to remove this fan. This comes off very easily, so no need to use, this one here. No need to use pliers. And what else? We need to remove this power button. Just pull the cable out of this tiny connector here. And 3 ribbon cables that connect the DVD to the motherboard. So this one here is fairly easy. This one has a plastic tab that you need to pull up. Just pull it up, and this should come off very easily. And this last one, there's no tabs, and this usually causes lots of problems. At least for me, it's not easy. I can't. It's always hard for me to remove this one, and let me try it like this. I don't want to break anything in here, so this one's usually very hard to remove. Actually, what I'll do, let's remove that screw that's right there, this tiny screw there. And again, keep it separate. This one's different. This one's very small and easy to lose, so I'll put it somewhere here. And then with all this out, I can remove this whole board from the bottom. Oh, there you go. So again, dirty, needs cleaning. So now carefully flip this over. Actually, let's try and remove this now, because this is kind of easier to access. So let's try and do it like that. There, finally. So with this, all this removed, again, be very careful with this one. I'm not sure, but on pretty much every single PS2 that I had, this one is really hard to remove. So again, flip the board, keep this secure, flip the board, and there's 4 screws on this side, 4 small screws, again, tiny. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So with these 4 screws removed, I can now remove this bottom shield, and we won't be reusing this one. You can keep it, but we won't be using this. Now we need to flip this whole thing again. Just be careful with this DVD assembly, and we should be able to remove this top shield. There you go. So this one's out, and yeah, it needs cleaning. Anyway, so this is disassembled. Now we need to find the appropriate place to solder this ribbon cable. So you need to find this chip. So this is the main Sony chip, and that the chip that we are looking for is this chip here, and this is, so look for this chip, and this is the area that we'll be using to solder the ribbon cable. So what I'll do, I'll switch to the microscope, because it'll be a lot easier for me to do this and for you to see what I'm doing. So I'll switch to the microscope. So let me just quickly show you. So as you can see, I'll disconnect it gently, because taped to this, just like that. I'll remove that tape. Be careful with this one, it's very brittle, I would say. Maybe not brittle, but... So what we'll do, we'll solder this right here. We'll bend it, flip the board over, and then we solder the rest on this side. And then we'll need to modify this, I'll show you how later. We'll solder this just like that. Sorry, like that. And then we'll do the... we'll connect this little thing. So again, I'll switch to the microscope, and we'll start soldering. Okay, so this one, this is the chip that I was talking about. So this is the main Sony chip, and this is the chip that we'll be interested in, and this is as far with the microscope as far as I can go. So you'll only see small part of the board. So these are the components, this one, this one, this one, and these 2 pins, I believe, or these 2 pads that we'll be using to connect. Let me just clean this up first. So I'll clean this area just to have, I don't want any dirt here. And what we'll need to do, we'll need to position this ribbon cable very carefully. And once positioned, I'll secure it with some Kapton tape. So it goes right there, just like that. That should be fine. Yeah. So let me now secure it with the Kapton tape. Yeah, we should be okay with this. So we'll need to solder all these, actually all these 4 points. So right here, all this and this 4. That's what happens when you use Kapton tape from AliExpress or eBay. Let me just position it again. It's kind of sticky, but it's not as sticky as I want it to be. Let's try it again. So just like that. There. So let's try that Kapton tape again. And hopefully it'll hold this time. slightly like that. So with this done, I will add some flux, and I think I'll start on this side. And I'll use this this tip here. It should be okay, just looking at the size of it. Yeah, this should be okay. So I'll just grab a little bit of solder onto that tip, and I'll start just gently touching this. Just like that. Need more. So just grab a little bit of solder onto the tip of a soldering iron, and I have a breach already. That's okay, we'll remove that. Just use a little bit too much of the solder. This one's okay, so let's clean it off. Let's add some flux, and let's remove, and I created another breach there. It's a little bit there. It's a little bit too far for my liking. I mean, I probably need to zoom in a little bit because I don't see this very clearly. Okay, it's getting worse. Let me zoom in. There, as you can see, we've got one huge breach there, but we'll clean this off and it'll be okay. So this tip is probably too big, but we'll try anyway. So this is good now, and it's hard to see because of the glare, but we'll check that later. So this one's done. Let's do next 4. And again, same exercise. Just grab a little bit of solder onto the tip of that iron and just touch it like that. Probably I need a little bit more. Like that. I just need to, and again I have a breach. Yeah, I should have used smaller tip, but unfortunately I would have to switch to the other handle. But again, don't worry if you have a breach here and there, we can easily remove it. These, by the way, I think are the resistors here, all these. Okay, this one is proving to be difficult to remove. I mean this breach. I think I will switch to another tip anyway, because this is just ridiculous. Let's connect this. I need more. I think this one's actually done. This bridge has been removed. Let's try again. Nope. Okay. Let's just use weak. That should do it. Just like that. And I'll add some flux. just tiny little bit more of solder. There. And let's fix this one as well. There you go. So now let's do this too. This one and this one. More solder. Cleaning time. So let's clean everything off. So let's have a quick look here. Let me just adjust. Yeah, this one's fine. This one's fine. I'll probably, you know what, I'll do this second pin because it doesn't look great. So I'll add some flux, this one right here, and a little bit of solder just to touch it up a little bit, because I think there's not enough solder there. There. That is fine now. So I'll clean it again. Looks great. So next step is to secure this cable on this. There are ground points right here, so we will use some flux and solder this to the board, and then there's another one right here under this Kapton tape, which I'll now can remove. Just be careful not to pull the rest of the cable. So right here, but in here we will need to scratch. This is all ground, so we'll need to scratch this a little bit of solder mask. So I'll use my trusty thingy. You can use any kind of sharp object to remove this, to remove a little bit of this solder mask. Let me just, so it's right here, right there. Okay, so I'll do it now. I just need some copper. I think that should be enough. Yeah, that will do. Don't need much, just to secure this. Actually, let's do a little bit more, just to be safe. Okay. So this side's okay. Let's start with this side. I'll clean this off again. Add some flux. And I'll change the tip to something bigger, because this one is a little bit maybe too small for this huge ground plane. So let me change it for maybe this. So this tip should be okay, I believe. Let me just try. I'll add some solder here, and then will that be enough? Yeah. So this side is okay, secure. Let's do this side, flux. We just add some solder here, like there. I should have put on my film extractor. This is a little bit too far away. We should be okay. Need a little bit more solder, I guess. There. And again, cleaning time. The rest looks pretty good. Okay, so one final touch, and we should be okay. Okay, so this side is done. I'll flip the board to the other side, and we'll continue on the other side. So let me flip this to the other side, and then we need to go and find, by the way, we need to go and find a good place for this to be. And this needs to be, let me reposition that a little bit. Okay, so on this side of the board, we need to solder this like that. So be careful. This is this is even trickier than the previous one, because first of all the board is moving because it's not flat. So these 4 points to this, I believe, resistor, this point and this side of those, I think these are caps. So with this you need to be very careful because it's very, very close. And let me see, I'll probably use another tip this time because it will be tricky. So let me try, and what I'll do, I'll probably try and solder this point first with that bigger tip, and then once this is done I will go ahead and continue with the rest of it. So yeah, this board is moving because there's stuff on the other side, so it's not as stable as it should be. So let's try and do this like that. I'll probably burn myself. I'll try to reposition a little bit. Something like this, I believe, should work. Yeah, let's try and do it. So flux, I'll just start with this point here. Let me see if I can push this even further down. Yeah, this needs to be right there. Actually, you know what, let's secure this one first, maybe, because it will be kind of hold this down. Yeah, there's components underneath and it's very hard to secure it. Okay. This needs to be done right because we won't have too many chances of doing this. We don't want to hit this ribbon cable too much. Yeah, this cap right here is kind of bothering me a little bit because it's in the way essentially of this ribbon cable right there. Anyway, I'll try to position as the best I can, and then we'll try and solder it. Something like this, I believe, should work. And I know we are losing focus because this board is moving. Some flux, and we'll see if that will work at all. So I'll use that big tip, or it's not big, but sorry, it's not big, but okay. So I will try not to burn myself. At least not much, not too much. Okay, so this is in place. I'll fix it later. Now with this one, I'll definitely burn myself. Let's try and do it. I need some more solder. Yep, that worked. So this is now in position. So let me see, will that work? It will. I'll use this. Yeah, that'll do. My other option is, let me show you, either this tip, yeah, or even something smaller, but again, let's try and do it this way. So I'll start with this. I think yeah, these are caps or maybe resistors, I don't know. Anyway, so let me push this like that, and hopefully it'll work. And we need to be very careful because these are very close to each other. And there, I have a bridge already. Yeah, that is going to be tricky. I'll remove that bridge, that's not a problem. What I'm worried about is that this is not really getting in place. So we'll add some fresh flux, and we'll remove that bridge there. Yeah, this isn't really going the way I want it to be. That bridge has to be removed. More flux. There, so the bridge is removed, but again, I'm not sure if this is actually connected. Okay, let's do the other one. I'll try to be more careful this time, not create a bridge. Which will be tricky. Let's try and hit both sides at the same time. Need more solder. I think this one might be good. Let's try this one. I'll go ahead and inspect that later, obviously, but I think it's good. Oh, it's not. Is it? These are definitely moving. So yeah, this cable is moving. So let's inspect that later. Let's focus on this side now. Let me see. Yeah, this should be okay, hopefully. So let's do this side now. And actually I need to flip the board because it'll be a lot easier for me to do it from this side. Just like that. And I need to put something underneath so that it doesn't move that much. So again, same thing. Just add some solder to the tip of this iron and then try and hold it in place like that. And this one's done. This one's done. I'll do this one here because I have a lot of solder on the tip. This is a little bit too far. Anyway, we'll fix that. So again, fresh solder on the tip. And this last point. Actually, I'll fix. I think I have a bridge now. It fixed itself. There. I'll add some fresh solder. That's done. It'll be a lot clearer view when I clean this off, but it'll give me some time to fix this. Like that. I think that's connected now. Let's clean this off and see what's going on with these 3 points there. Actually, I need to do this as well. So let's do these ones. Yeah, these are a little bit too far. I think I went too far with this cable. This will be tricky. But let's try and do it. Don't have a choice, really. So I'll add flux. I'll add some fresh solder onto the tip as well. Again, sorry. And I'll try to push it down as much as I can. Maybe like this. Yep. Not the cleanest joint I did, but it will do. As long as I have the continuity there. As long as it's connected. This one's good as well. So what's left? Let me clean this off now and let's see. I'm worried about these 3 points here. Everything else is fine, as far as I can see. And I'll probably fix this because these don't look great. So let's inspect. So move this up. Yeah, these are definitely not connected as far as I can see. these 3 points where the caps are. Sorry about this. Like that. So this, as you can see, this one, these are moving. So I need to do it again. This one's fine. These are all fine. These are all connected. This is also connected. Yeah, I'll need to fix that. So this will be, we need fixing, but first of all, I need to focus on this, on this right here. Okay, I think I know what to do. So as you can see, you will need really good soldering iron, steady hand, which I don't have, unfortunately. And yeah, it's doable, but it's a little bit more involved than I initially thought. So I'll try and push it down, just like that, and try and heat it up again. This one's okay. Let's try this one. Let me reposition again, slightly to the side, and try it again. I think there is continuity there, it's connected. So last one. This no, this one is obviously not connected, so we'll need to fix that. Let's try and fix this first. This one's done. I'll try and fix this there. So this one is definitely connected. They're all good. Let's fix this one while we're at it. I'll add some fresh flux. Yeah, this is a lot worse than the other side, unfortunately. And yeah, that's because of there are kind of components underneath, and it's very hard to actually, first of all, position it right, and then kind of push it down so it's actually lays flat on these pads. And this is the whole the problem. Yeah, this is not looking great. This is a little bit too far, and I don't know why. Yeah. Just try and add more solder to this, and hopefully it will still nothing else. You can see there's a huge ball of solder, which I'm not comfortable with. There, finally done. And let me fix this, because as you can see, they are not shiny, which is bothering me, because they should be shiny, nice and shiny, because if they're not, they can cause problems. So let's see if we can fix this. Yeah, this, I should have pushed this a little bit more. Same story on these two. Yeah, so just make sure there. Make sure you position this correctly. There's no gaps. So let's clean this off again and see if we have any more issues here. So I think all these points are now connected. Yes, they are. And the last thing that we need to do on this side, well, not the last thing, but we'll still need to use these anchor points to solder it to these 2 points, to solder to the board to secure it. And then there's one more 5 volts here, and I'll show you where to connect it. Well, let's just secure it these 2 points. And again, I will have to reposition it because it will be a lot easier for me to do. So the last thing is to connect this 5 volts pad with this. I believe this is transistor here, right beneath this leg of the transistor. So let's do it. Let's do that now. What I'll do, I'll tin this first. Oh, sorry, don't see it. I'll tin this a little bit, and I'll do the same thing here. So I'll tin this transistor leg right here. So this one, I'll add some fresh solder here as well. Just be careful not to touch the ribbon cable. Okay, got some solder there. Let's move back to 5 volts pad, just like that. And now, let me see if I have a little bit of wire, and I think I'll use this one. This should be just enough. I know you can see it, but might be too short actually. I think it will do. So let's start with this point here, 5 volts. So it'll go something like this. How do I do this? It's not very comfortable, unfortunately. You know what? I'll do it off camera because it's hard for me to reach. So again, 5 volts goes to this transistor right here. So everything here is soldered. I'll clean this off, and we'll proceed with modifying the SD card adapter. So I'll clean this off and I'll be back. Okay, so now we want to modify this this adapter, and let me see if I can move back even further. Probably not much, but I'll do. So this is the SD to IDE adapter. So we will need to remove this whole part, all these pins. And I think the easiest way to do it, well, you could use hot air, obviously, but again, this will be a nightmare. What I'm going to do, I'll just remove this plastic part, and I'll desolder this one by one. So we will need to remove this whole thing, and then we will need to remove this metal cover. And let's start with this one. So I'll just push it. Not sure if you can see this. I'm just using my flash cutters, and it'll probably be easier if I just cut somewhere in between there. Okay, so this is done. As you can see, and they are all free. Some are bent, doesn't really matter as long as this is not damaged, these pads. So now what I'll do, I'll use some sort of holder and just desolder them one by one, and I'll do it off camera because it won't reach, essentially you won't be able to see anything. So actually let me try, maybe you will be able to see something at least. There, yeah, you may be able just to see it like that. So I'll need to reposition that just like that. So what I'll do, I'll add some fresh flux everywhere there, it'll be easier. And then just desolder them one by one. So I'll grab this one, I think it's this one at the back, gone. Just repeat for every single one of them. So I'll do it off camera because it's easier for me. All you need to do is remove every single one of these. Okay, so all the pins have been removed. I've removed most of the excess solder, and the reason I did that is that it's probably unleaded. So there you go. These are all the pins. And I don't like to mix unleaded and leaded, so I just removed that. And the last thing, well, not the last thing, but next thing that we need to do is we need to remove this shield. And this shield is being held by in a few points, which we'll clearly see. So this is one right here, on this side, and I think that's it. That's those 2 points. Yeah. So again, right here and right here. Let me adjust the focus. So right there. And then obviously it's being held here, and we'll try to deal with that later. So, and just to remove this, what I'll do, I'll just stick a screwdriver there on inside here and just hit this side up with the soldering iron, and it should come off like that. And the other side, the same thing. So I'll just put the screwdriver in. I just need to find a place there. So right here, hit it up, and it's free. So this is done. Now with these ones, I believe what we can do, we can try and desolder them one by one and just gently lift this shield. So I'm holding it right here, and I'll start with this and try just to heat it up. I'll just add some flux. Let's see what happens. Just be careful. There are tiny components in there, so we definitely need to. We don't want to desolder them. So let's try if it works. So I'll heat this one up. Will it lift at all? No, it won't. You know what? Let's try and break them off. So let's just try and move this like that. And they should eventually break off there. I think most of them are gone. Something is holding. Yeah, there's just one left there. There. Removed. Obviously we need to remove this, oops, the remains. So, and to do that, heat it up and move them away. Just again, be very careful with these tiny components there. Like that. And I'll clean the whole area off so that I don't have any. So I think I lifted this pad. I think this pad wasn't actually connected to anything. Yeah, I definitely lifted this pad, but hopefully we'll see. We'll see when I clean it off. Let's heat the whole thing up and remove that excess solder. Let's clean everything up, and I think this is not connected. Well, I hope so. Yeah, it looks like. And again, I'll post the link to this to the page of the guy who's selling these ribbon cables. So this is not connected anywhere. We are not connecting it, so it's fine. So this is done. The last remaining thing, which is, well, optional, I just noticed there is these two LEDs here, power and active, and I think this is kind of blinking when the hard drive is active. It would be nice to have it somewhere in a place that we can see it. So let me try and remove this. This LED, and maybe we can then put it somewhere closer to the case so that we can see it. And to remove it, I need to be very careful with it because these LEDs are very easy to damage. So I'll add some fresh solder on the tip of my iron and just try and heat it up on both sides so that maybe it will come off. It's coming off, it's coming off. Come on, come on. There, I got it. Now, there. I've got it. So, got the LED. It is tiny. I'm not sure I'm going to wire it up. So, there it is. And it will be tricky, but let's try and do that. So, for now, we are done with this. Just need to put it in a safe place, that LED. So for now, so we are done with this. Let me just clean this a little bit. We are done with this adapter. Now we need to focus on this one, this smaller one. And what we need to do here, we need to remove all this, sorry, we need to remove these components, all these components, and I think we'll need to lift one of these legs. But let's remove these components first, and again we'll do the exact same thing. We don't need to be that careful because we will not be reusing those. So I'll just go ahead and heat up both sides, and this one's gone. Next one. Oh. Sorry. These are now removed, and again I'll remove the excess solder. Okay, so the last thing now is we need to, on this one, we need to lift this leg here. I think this is 8, it should start counting from from this side, so I think this pin. So how do we do this? I'll just slide this underneath maybe, and I'll heat it up and try and lift it. This will be tricky, I think, but let's see if we can do it. So it's very hard for me because I only have 2 hands. Okay, I think it is lifted. Let's inspect. Is it? Or is there still some left over? Yeah, there's still some solder. No, there's not. Okay, so this one's lifted. So I'll lift it even more so that it's definitely not touching the board, because it shouldn't. I'll do it off camera. Okay, it's definitely lifted. As you can see, I can slide the whole tweezers underneath. So that's done. So we are done on this side. Well, not just yet. As I said, I don't like have mess on the board, so now we are ready. So we are done with that. We need to bring the motherboard back, and we'll start soldering this board, this adapter, to the board. Okay, so the next step will be to solder the this adapter board, SD card adapter board, to this, all these pins here, all these pads. So what I did off camera, first thing I did, I soldered, I'm not sure if you will be able to see, probably, yeah, you will. So this is where the diode was, and I soldered 2 wires because we'll need that diode at the end of those 2 wires, and I put some Kapton tape because this board will be facing the or these components will be facing the board here, and I don't want any shorts, so it's facing this way, and we'll put it underneath this ribbon cable, and we'll need to solder all these points, all these tabs, sorry, all these pads to these pads right here. So it's fairly simple. It's just the positioning is the key. You will need to position it perfectly. So let's see. Can I do slightly wider view? Probably not. I think that's the most I can do. So I will need to be very, very careful with this. So this side seems to be okay. How about this side? This seems to be okay as well. I think we are good on each side. Yeah. So I'm worried about this side because it's not flat on the board, but I think it's okay. Yeah. So what I'll do, first of all, I'll probably just a tiny bit of solder to this side just to hold it in place, maybe 1 or 2 pins. So I'll add some fresh solder, I'll add some flux, and I'm starting here because this is flat, this is still kind of not touching the board, so I will need another finger, which I don't have. Well, I do, but it'll be hard for me to use it. So And again, tiny bit of solder on the iron, just to I should have turned on my fume extractor, just to hold it in place, just like that. And I'll do the other one as well. And that should be okay. So I'll do the same thing on this side, just making sure it's positioned correctly. And I'm pretty sure it is at this moment. Let me just flip the board or reposition the board so that it's easier for me to hold. Yeah. Perfect. So, same thing here. Just add a little bit of flux, make things easier, and the same thing. And once we have it kind of secured from both sides, we can then proceed and solder the rest of the pads. And I'll definitely turn on my fume extractor. That should be okay. So let's double check. We okay? Yeah, we are. So let me turn on my fume extractor now. Just like that. And let's go ahead and solder everything else. So this board is wobbly, so you may lose focus at some point, but by the way, the light is not great, so it's quite dark, and that's because the microscope is very high. I try to get as much as wide field of view as possible, so it's kind of dark, but yeah, what can I do? Is this okay? Is this flat on the board? Yeah, I'll probably do one more pad here, or maybe one or two, because this is not kind of flat on the board, so I'll just hold it in with my finger and or maybe not with the finger, maybe with the maybe like that. I'll just tap it. Right, that should be enough. So let's go ahead and do the rest of those pads. Okay, we are done, so let's clean the whole thing off. That looks very nice indeed. So we are almost done. We've soldered all this. Now I will need to make this board kind of secure it somehow, and there's two options, well, more options. There's hot glue, which I don't like, some double-sided tape or something, but I think better option will be, we have a ground pad right here and we have ground here. So what I thought I'll do, remember these pins that we removed from this board? So I just prepared one of these in kind of this shape, So I'm thinking what I'll do, I'll just do something like that. So I'll solder it here and solder it to this point, and it should be fairly secure. This board should be then fairly secure. So yeah, let's try that. But to do that, I will need to remove, so it'll be somewhere in this position. So I will need to remove, I need to be very careful. I don't want to destroy these tracks. So let me remove some solder mask from here. That should be enough. So let's clean this off. That hopefully should do it. Let's see. Will that be okay? Yeah, I'll make it slightly larger, I think, just to make sure it's kind of secure. Yeah, that will do it. Okay, so we'll clean this off. I'll add some solder to it, or flux first, obviously. That always make things easier. And now I need to move these cables away. I don't want to melt them now. Again, this will take some time to heat up. Okay, and I'll add some fresh solder to this pad while I'm at it. Okay, so now the tricky part. How do I do this? Maybe something like this. Yeah, that should hopefully do it. Yeah, I think it's secure. So now let me position this so that it doesn't stress the cable, the ribbon cable. Somewhere like this, I think. And let's just flood this thing with solder. Like that. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. Shouldn't go anywhere. Wish I could do like something on the other side, on this side, just to make it a little bit more stable, but there's no way, obviously. There's no pad to solder to, so I mean that will do. That will be okay. So we are done. Now I'll probably switch to the main camera, because we are essentially just a little bit of cleaning. We are done with this board for now, because we'll still have to solder some wires to these pads right there. But I'll probably do it on the main camera, because you won't see much with the microscope. So I'll switch back to the main camera. I'll be back. Okay, so this is the board that we just soldered with the flex ribbon cable with this kind of mounting contraption. I mean, yeah, it should be okay. So what I need to do now, I need to position this little thing because, oh sorry, this what we did previously. So we removed these components, you remember. So I'll put the SD card inside there, because it will go somewhere here, I believe. I thought it could go, sorry, this is the back, and this goes like that. So the vents are on the back, are right here, so there's really no place to put it here. So we'll have to go to the front, which is right here, and it will go to first this here, and it'll go somewhere here, I believe. Now I'm not sure how I do this. Let's put this, it'll go like that. I'll put it here, right there with the card. Oh, come on, focus. There. And then I'll put this on top. Oops. And I'll try to mark it somehow where I need this to be. So this goes there. Oh, this cable is now, I don't know, annoying. So we'll put it here. Stick it right there. And that's it flat. So this thing, there is some wiggle, so it doesn't probably need to be stay on the flat on the board. It needs to be slightly higher, I think. So let's see, let's mark the position of this thing. So I'll just do this. I'll do it off camera because I'll block your view. So I'll do it off camera. I'll just mark where this adapter is right now at the moment. Okay, so I'll remove it now. Take this. So what I'll do, you can see these holes, tiny holes here. These tiny holes along the edge here. So I'll just count them. So it's 1, 2, and right in the middle, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh. So 1, 2, so somewhere here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's the last one. So this is where we need this thing to be, and right there, something like this. So again, what I'll probably do, I'll secure it with, there's ground pads here. So these ground pads, focus please. These are ground pads here and right here. So I'll do the same thing. So I'll reuse this. These are the pins that we removed from this board, and I'll secure it somewhere here, but I'll need to put some Kapton tape at the bottom so that it doesn't short anything. And yeah, that should hopefully do it. Okay, I'll do it off camera. There's no way I can kind of do it like that, so I'll be back. Okay, so it's done. Looks something like this. It's secure. I mean, it sits there. One thing, and I'm not gonna lie, it took a few attempts. One thing, you don't want to put this card on top of this, I think it's capacitor or something, this component, because it'll be too high. So it kind of sits against this, and let me show you how far. Yeah, not sure if that probably won't focus. Let me try this. focus. Nope. Anyway, it's not that high. I mean, it's roughly the height here. So the edge of the board, top edge, is kind of level with this component. And sorry, so the top edge is pretty much level with this component. So it's not that high, but it doesn't kind of lay flat. It's maybe 1 millimeter above the board. And let me show you how it fits. So here's the bottom part of the board, sorry, bottom part of the case. So if we put it right here, and then so it's right there, focus right there. So if you see, you can take the card, we'll put it in, and it sits there nicely. So we can remove it. So works very well. I'm very happy with this. So with this done, the next step is to, by the way, I'll need to place the LED somewhere here with this. So these wires will have to go somewhere here, and there will be LED, and it'll probably be some silicone to hold it in place. So the next step is to connect these pads to this to the pins of this connector. So this is essentially an extension, so it doesn't do anything, it's just an extension for this board. So I'll put the link to the page, but I think it goes, this is pin 1, I believe. So this pin goes here, next one here. So it's just I'll show you when it's done. I'll do it off camera because it will take some time to route these cables. How do I do this? I'm not sure. I'll probably go somewhere here, and maybe I need to clean this off. So, or here maybe. Yeah, I'll see. But I'll use this same wire to do that, I think. So I'll do it off camera, and I'll show you exactly which pins goes where, but I think this is pin 1, it goes to pin 1 right here, and so on. So pin 2 to pin number 2, and so on. So let me do it off camera, I'll be back. Okay, so this is how the final, almost final product looks like. This LED is still not secured in place. I just put a Kapton tape here temporarily, and I've put it somewhat to the back, so it's not at the edge of this board. This LED is quite strong, quite intense, kind of light, and I'm worried that it might be distracting because this is the front of the console, and the hard drive, when you're playing games and using it, or SD card, will be active pretty much all the time, and it'll be blinking all the time. So I'm not 100% sure if that's the right location, but anyway, it's kind of temporarily put here. If I'm happy with this LED, I'll obviously secure it here with the silicone, and as I did here. So all this is silicone. I'm not sure if you can see, probably you can see this here. So this is all silicone, and it's electronics grade silicone, so it's not harmful to the components and PCB. So yeah, that's what it looks like. So going back to the pinout, I was kind of wrong, and again I'll post the link with the details in the description. So if you see here, these pins 1, 2, 3, these are connected, or pads. Then 4, 5 not connected to anything, so skip those. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 connected, and this last one, which was here, and I unfortunately removed it, but again this is not connected to anything, so no problem there. So, and again, skip these two, and then going to this side, I've put some solder mask just to secure it. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but you just need to skip first 2 pins. So this first pin and the second pin, they are not connected, and then just go from this pad here to pin number 3, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, And then last one, this one right here, goes to that pin that we lifted. So solder it to the pin that was lifted, not to the pad, to the pin that we lifted at the beginning. So yeah, that's done. I think it looks pretty good. Again, secured, no problems there. It's secure. One last thing. So we won't be. So this is the back shield that was sitting here in this lower or bottom. How was that? Like that. Yeah. So in this bottom, was it here? Yeah, like that. Bottom shell. So obviously we won't be using that, but the thing is that this has these mounting points here for the DVD drive. So the board went inside here, and then this went on top of that. And as you can see, these screws here, let me just move it away for a moment. Sorry for the mess, this is all leftovers. So this goes on top here, and this goes here. So this is where the screw kind of goes in these places. So we will need to secure this top part of the RF shield. Let me remove that. So I put it right there. This goes on top. But then we need to, I'll remove this, and I need to hold this drive. We need to, this drive is annoying. We need to secure that part and also the heatsink. So as you can see, all this here need to be secured. And what I'm going to do, there's the you can use the 3D printed thingies or nuts, but I have this. This is a set of these standoffs. These are M1, so you can use this, and I'll use just these screw, these ones. They are tiny, M1 again, and they will nicely work. So they fit exactly there, and obviously to all these screws that we need to put in. So I will use this, and these are, by the way, if you use two of those, stack them. If you use two of these, they will be pretty much exact height. So this, you can see this, there's one. If you put another one on top of it, they will be exact same height as these kind of standoffs. So yeah, obviously you can modify this, but there's that plastic kind of thingy shield. But yeah, I won't be using that. I will just use this to secure the DVD drive and heatsink, and that should work. So okay, so that's done. Hopefully it will work, I hope. So I'll put it temporarily, I put it in the case, and we'll go ahead and test it and see if it works, and I'll see how this LED works. So yeah, I'll move to my other desk, and we'll test it and see if it works. Okay, so the PS2 is now partially assembled. I just put the this heat shield this RF shield and heatsink, and just connected the fan. This drive is still disconnected, just have power there. So I'll put this SD card. I don't know if it's formatted or not, but we'll format it. So it goes in, as you can see, very nicely. It's barely visible there. So now I have the controller. This is FreeMac boot. You technically don't need this because I'll be installing a free HD boot so that I can boot this from the drive or the SD card without really needing this, and then play the games and do whatever I want. Just from everything from the hard drive or from the SD card. But again, for the purpose of this video, I'll use FreeMac boot just to see if it reads if everything works and if it can see the disk drive, and just format it and that's pretty much all. So I also have the video. This is composite, unfortunately, and so it won't be great. Goes through the retro thing and then to the capture device. So the quality won't be great, but that's not the point of this video. So let me power it on and let me share my capture window. So FreeMacBoot has put it, as you can see. And now what we need to do, we need to go to ULaunch ELF and then press the, I don't know, what is it, the cross? Or the, yeah, button. And then just press the circle to file browser, miscellaneous circle again, and then HDD manager. So as you can see, the HDD status connected, yes, formatted, no. So we'll need to press R1 and then format circle. And yes, let's confirm. HDD formatted. As you can see, we have our, this is 8 GB card, which is essentially matching what's there. So as you can see, the drive is there. We can actually go back. So let's exit and just do file browser, and we can now go to HDD0, and you can see there's all this that these are created by default essentially when you format the drive. So everything is there, so we can read the drive. And by the way, I can tell you already that this blinking is annoying. So I'll either it's like, I mean, this LED is very strong and it's kind of annoying. I'll probably reposition it somewhere to the back, or just get rid of it completely, or put it somewhere in the middle so that I can still see it if I want to. But yeah, I mean, it's distracting. Like you play a game and you have that blinking thingy. Yeah, I don't like that. So you may as well just ignore the whole LED thing and it'll be fine. So everything works. As I said, so I'll power it off and let me get rid of this. So as I said, I highly recommend, well, I'm not sure if I said that, but I highly recommend this mod. With this mod, it's not that expensive. And by the way, you will have a 10% discount. I have no involvement with this. I get no money for that. I can just recommend the guy. I think his name is Gus. I think he's French. I don't know if I misspelled it. I'm sorry. This flex, this ribbon cable makes it a lot easier. I mean, it's still not the easiest mod that you can do, because there's very small solder points and you can easily damage the board. But if you can solder, if you have good soldering iron, I highly recommend this mod. As you can see, you can have very flexible hard drive. This now is essentially your fat PS2, which is a lot, which is not that noisy, which is a lot smaller, and it can do pretty much anything your fat PS2 can do with just this SD card. And by the way, I think you can only use the maximum of 128 gigabyte card, which should be plenty for PS2. But the advantage here is that you can swap those cards. You just format them, and you can have multiple of those, and you can just plug it in and out, and there you go. That's your hard drive. That's your equivalent of hard drive in the fat PS2. So again, I highly recommend this mod. You'll have 10% discount from Gus. Again, sorry if I misspelled your name. So you can buy it even cheaper. I think it's time limited, so use it within a few months. So again, I highly recommend that. So that's kind of, again, I won't be covering the free HD boot install, because it's fairly easy. But again, this video has been long enough, so I'll post the links to the instructions how to do this in the description. So we have everything in the description essentially. Now, just announcement for anybody who actually survived until this point. I plan to do some sort of giveaway, and there's details in the community tab of YouTube of my channel. So I've done quite a few devices, like Sinclair ZX Spectrum, modded that. I've modded the what else? The Game & Watch, and I also did a review of this quite interesting Chinese clone NES/SNES, which is quite good. So I think one of these will be, I'll give one of those away. Now, what you'll need to do, first of all, this giveaway will go ahead before Christmas if I reach 2,000 subscribers. So just please subscribe. And you'll only need to subscribe to my channel and post a comment. There will be a separate giveaway video. It's just a sort of announcement so people are aware. But anyway, this was about HDD in PS2. And again, I highly recommend that. And that's all for today. Thank you.